Welcome to the Disability Myth, the podcast where we explore the realities of disability with handsomeness, humility, and hamminess. My name's Dominic, and I was born with a fatal neuromuscular condition called spinal muscular atrophy. My co-host, Uriel, and I tackle serious issues, but we don't take ourselves too seriously.
SMA and boats. How did that go?
SMA and boats?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, boats are just not as wheelchairs. We're here to share stories, break down barriers, and remind everyone that we're not so different. So hit subscribe and let's shed light on some myths.
Hi.
Heyo! Welcome back to another episode of The Disability Myth. I'm, of course, your handsome, your humble, your hammy host, Dominic Trevathan. What are we going with today? Which actor am I?
Actor. Scarlett Johansson.
Yes. Embracing my feminine side. And alongside me, as always,
Betty White.
Betty White, the equally handsome, humble, and hammy. Welcome back to another episode. And we're really excited. We have another new friend joining us, another new SMA friend, Siara Mason, a filmmaker who has won the International Online Film Festival. So, welcome on, Siara.
Hello. Hi.
Nice to have you. So my understanding is that you're currently a film major at Full Sail University. What can you tell us about that? How's that going?
Yeah, it's actually going pretty well so far. They have a different system. They don't have like straight semesters. They have every month you get a new class. So you basically take a semester in a month with like one or two classes. So it's been really compact and really busy, but I enjoyed it a lot because in like 3 months into school, I was able to start like hands-on using equipment with cameras and everything, which in like standard like college, you typically have to wait a couple years to like your junior year to do that.
That's so
So it's
cool.
pretty
Is it
nice.
a technical school? All hands on?
Yeah, it's they got the label of university, but it's also kind of like a trade school. It's a mix of both.
Okay, cool. And what state is it stationed? Is it do they have multiple like campuses across the country, or is it all localized in one state?
It's all localized in Florida.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I
Yeah.
don't know why, because I always looked at Full Sail when I was in high school, because I had that, teen ambition of being a video game developer,
Yeah.
and I just always assumed it was only all online.
Well, that's kind of how they
They have
advertised
online too,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Because I remember seeing the ads for that as well. But
yeah.
I didn't know it was all based in Florida. I thought they had multiple campuses,
Or like satellites, yeah.
campusi.
Is that the plural?
No, it's not. Campuses.
Campus.
Campusises. What do you call a group of campuses?
A campu.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sorry. Camp- Uh,
So, the way you describe it, it's like really compact, fast paced.
Yeah.
Um,
In and out. It's a 2 year program, so you get your bachelor's in 2 years instead of four.
oh wow,
wow.
that's
Yeah.
so crazy. Is it that crazy? Like, are you getting used to it, or like, how far are you along?
At first, it was like slower pace. Like the schedule is like a nice calm pace, so it's nice and peaceful. And it's like, okay, this is not too bad. But now getting into it, you got long days. Like I had a class for my final. It was like supposed to be from 9 to 9 p.m., like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
And I was like, that was a long day. We get breaks in between, which is nice, but like you're on there in class, one class only two for that long of a time.
Yeah, that's like those upper division like art courses. Like if
Yeah.
you go to like a university or like go for your master's or whatever, that's like a well, some they call it like if you're in the sciences lab or it's
Yeah.
like the whole day. Or let's see another studio day where you're in there for like 5 6 hours working on your senior project or like
Hmm.
whatever. So that's pretty cool. But this is a whole day, a whole job. That's
Yeah.
really sick.
Yeah.
And
You have like 3 hour lecture and then like
okay.
another 3 hours of lab right after, something like
Okay, because
that.
I was gonna ask if you had like traditional lectures and like written assignments too.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Hmm.
That's pretty cool.
So, what was it like going from high school to that kind of pace?
I am always doing work. I feel like even in high school, I was always just constantly doing something because I was in debate and then theater at the same time. And then I did dual enrollment with a community college. And I'm originally from New Jersey. So I moved from New Jersey to Florida, which was a huge difference too. But I like the pace. It keeps me like busy and keeps me like being creative, which I really like.
That's cool. Okay, so if you made a movie about your life,
Oh.
what genre would it be and who would play you?
Ooh. I think if I had to pick a genre, it'd be like a dramedy, so a drama comedy. Because I feel like there's always things going on that like something goes wrong or just a lot of like complications in life. I feel like a lot of like obstacles a lot of time. But then I always like combat it with humor. So I feel
Yeah.
like that would be my life. And who would play me? Question. Um, the most recent actress, I would think her name is Marissa Bode. She just did Wicked and she played
Okay.
Nessa. I think I would pick her to play me.
Solid
Wow.
pick.
Wow.
What?
What
You
about
like
you?
you like a sports drama.
I'm a sports draw.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
I don't even play sports.
Um,
Unless you count Madden
yeah.
or like baseball.
Just off the bat, I'd be a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not even gonna like refute it. It's like, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Then who would play me? Myself, because I can't think of anybody that could nail my
I can't
mannerisms.
either.
It's
Maybe like John Cena.
John Cena.
Did
Why John Cena?
you see him in the McDonald's commercial? Have you guys seen him?
No,
I'm
I
not.
can't see him. He's always
He
invisible.
got you.
Where is he?
You could say I walked into that one. Uh, uh,
I feel like Adam Sandler would play you. I feel like Adam
Adam
Sandler
Adam
Sandler.
possibly.
Sandler?
Yes, we've said that
Yeah.
before, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, definitely.
that'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw him in Uncut Gems. That was a good movie.
I don't think I've seen
I
that.
haven't seen that one.
Yeah. He plays a loud New York person, and Adam Sandler is a very loud person, and he nails it really well.
Well, how do you know? What if like when he's alone, he's not, or like when he's not on set around people, he's probably quiet. Like,
It's his aura.
True.
have you
It's his
seen?
aura.
Okay,
He plays the role really. You should just watch it.
okay.
You should just watch it.
Have you seen are you too familiar with Hot Ones? Are
Yes,
you?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, duh, yeah. Um,
No, I never heard of that.
so okay, next question. Are you familiar with, I know you are. Are you familiar with Eric Andre?
Yes.
Um, Maybe? I'm
How would you
not good with
describe Eric
names.
Andre?
Eric Andre?
Yeah.
He- Somebody that would go to Juilliard for the upright bass and then start a career scaring people and like eating random stuff.
Yeah, but like,
But that's the best that because that's exactly what he did. And that's exactly the best way I can describe him. But anyway, I just want to know what movie you'd be in.
Was he on Hot Ones?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Before I answer that, yeah, he was on the Hot Ones.
okay.
The point I was trying to make, because like you're familiar with Eric Andre.
Yeah.
He's very outrageous,
I'm not that
eccentric person.
outrageous.
I'm
No.
not talking about you.
Okay. Okay. I was scared. I'm like, no, no, no,
And they
please.
asked him like, "Oh, are you always like this?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm outside of like, work. I'm just a chill dude." Like, this guy came up to me when I was at a cafe and he wanted me to punch him. And I was like, "Dude, I'm just trying to enjoy my Americano." It was so funny. As far as like the movie I would be in,
Action. John Wick.
yes. I don't have a dog though.
I'll be your dog. Because I know you'd crash out if someone hurt me.
I would.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. If somebody hurt you, I don't know, maybe if I feel like it.
That's crazy.
It's like, oops, oh well, I'm not gonna go on a murder spree about it. Like, oh, I love Dominic. He was the best.
And then my actor would have to be like Vin Diesel or something,
Oh, that'd be funny.
because it'd be all about family.
He made Van Diesel in a real.
Family.
Oh,
What? What? What?
not Street Fighter. What's the car? Brr, 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 brr. It's been a long day
Fast and Furious.
without you,
Yeah,
my.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Yep. Van Diesel in a wheelchair for Fast and Furious. That'd be you. That'd be sick. It needs to happen. At least a parody.
Definitely needs to
I've been
happen.
wanting to do Kamen Rider.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Nobody knows a Kamen Rider. It's the Japanese Power Rangers. It's
Yeah.
the great
Mm.
grandfather of Power Rangers, but like in a wheelchair. And they do all the jump cuts and
And
it's like
he,
spinning
like,
around.
beats the
Yeah, yeah.
shit out of everybody
Yeah,
in
it
the
is. It's
wheelchair.
awesome. It only
That'd be
makes
cool.
sense if you've seen Kamen Rider fight scenes.
Yeah, I get it. You
Yeah,
showed me.
it's sick. Anyway. We have a bunch of icebreakers here. I'm sorry. We're really ADHD right now. At least I am. Um,
Let him cook.
favorite movie and director.
Ooh, my favorite movie. I think my favorite movies, like a movie I could watch over and over, is the Saw movies. They creep me out in like I don't want to say a good way because that sounds bad because of how gruesome they are, but like just the mind of like the whole series and how like each movie connects back to like the first one. Every single movie that connects, which I think is really cool. And then I would even say the guy that directs them, what's his name? James Wan. He he did a great job directing like the first couple Saw movies, and I thought they were great. Even the last one, Saw X, he directed, and I thought it was great. I'm pretty sure he directed it. I think that was really good.
Plot twist.
I've always heard good things about the Saw films, but I've never sat down to watch
Dude,
them.
me either. Maybe
You
this is
should. They're really
our
good.
calling.
Oh,
Or something.
while I
They're
work
really
with you
good.
tonight, we'll have like a little Saw marathon.
We gotta finish Dan to Dan
No.
first, though.
Yeah, we've been watching anime, some Dan to Dan,
Yeah.
Dan Dern, Dan Dern. This will be me tonight with my pillow watching Saw, like holding your hand, like
Yeah, it's so gruesome.
oh, I believe
It's
that's the
really
one
gruesome.
where it's almost like some Squid Game stuff, where there's a bunch of contestants and they're like in a remote location and they have to survive. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
Bullshit, like
Yeah.
Saws,
It's
like
either you
actually,
die
like,
or die, kind of. It's honestly almost basically they're dying if
yeah.
you even
There,
do the
there,
test.
there's a game that did that really well. And I know you're a bit of a gamer. Maybe you're familiar with Until Dawn.
I was
I've
thinking
heard of
Tether.
it. I've never played it, but I've heard of
Mhm.
it.
Thinking what?
I was thinking of like the popular game that blew up where they were like chained together and they had to go for an obstacle course.
Oh,
Oh, Chained Together. That's what
Yeah,
it's
chained
called.
yeah,
together.
they're
Yeah,
literally chained together.
yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, that was kind of fun. We
I
should.
like Until Dawn. That's like one of those where you you play out cutscenes basically. You
Oh,
get to pick your decision on what your character does.
no, like the
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
It's fun. They had like a whole little Saw phase in it. It was fun.
Oh gosh, you're trapped in the last video game slash TV show you watched. It's the last media.
Any piece of media, really, movie,
Yeah, the last
game,
thing you can see.
book.
Okay.
Yeah, how screwed are you?
The last show I watched. The last show I watched was called Your Honor. Um, it's on Netflix. It's pretty good. It's like he's a judge and his son commits like a crime. He basically commits murder from a hit and run, and he covers it up or tries to cover up as best he can.
Do you
And
really
it's like
think you
dealing
could
with like
cover up
another
a murder?
game. No,
No. See, the
I would
was,
fail right
no.
away.
See, the question was, you were trapped in the last video game slash TV show you watched, so she'd just be stuck in the real world, and it just happens to be a judge.
But why can't she
Yeah,
do the
it's
murder?
a small town in New
It's a small
Orleans.
town.
I'd be done for because at least I think so because it's like a bunch of like drug dealers too in the mix and like that's why he's covering it up because he killed the head like mob boss kind of son and so basically he's like if they find out he killed him he's gonna kill him and like other people get in the mix and they blame it on other people and then they die. It's a whole bunch of craziness, and I think I'd be done for because I couldn't keep a lie. Like I would not be
Oh,
able to
okay.
lie.
So it's like it's the
I'd feel
rough part.
guilty.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Okay, now we always ask this, it seems like pretty frequently,
I'm always cooked.
and our
I'm always, I'm
our
always,
answers are
yeah,
always the same. It's like
yeah.
Elden Ring for him.
No,
Mm.
no, no,
Okay, care to
no,
enlighten the class?
no. Last night I was a little adventurous, a little,
Oh, we played Monster
Mhm.
Hunter.
no, worse. I decided to boot up Sekiro.
Oh,
Shadows died
oh,
twice, and
oh.
I'm dead. There's like no way. There's no way. I'm dead. I can't parry. I'm dead. I'm dead. Just outright.
Mm. Yeah, game wise for me, technically Arc. Though last night I
Mm.
spent like 2 hours downloading mods, so I didn't really get to play.
This
Mm.
is you and Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she can't see what it is. Hold
And for those that
There
are
we
just
go.
listening, he's making, I don't know, some monstrosity with his fingers, like a shadow puppet thing.
Well, it's like some people.
A
It's like an
snake?
ink block
Lizard?
test. It's like an ink block test. What do you see? Ostrich, frog, lizard.
Ooh, ostrich.
Yeah. See?
Snake.
Snake? Yeah.
Snake.
See, it's like an ink block test. It's just like, oh. And like
But
I tell people, like, what do you see? Ostrich? Ooh, you're mentally unwell. I'm sorry. What one? No, no. Reroll, reroll. No, I'm joking. But yeah.
okay,
Oh,
now to end our icebreakers with a little bit more serious note. If you could go back in time and give a piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Ooh. That's a great question. I feel like be more talkative. As I was younger, I was very shy. I was like close with like my close knit group of friends, and that was about it. But then I feel like talking out to like more people and adults, I feel like I was more shy and taken back. And then one quote from a movie I liked, it was called Out of My Mind. This came out recently. And a woman said to like the girl in the chair, she was like, just because like people wipe your ass doesn't mean you got to kiss theirs.
Mhm.
And I really like that quote. And I said, I wish I knew that when I was younger.
That's good.
oh,
I
yeah.
could use some of that myself.
Well,
Yeah.
he said similar things.
Huh?
You've said similar things.
Like what?
Um, it's like there's this like you've always had this like strong urge for like independence, and you didn't want people to
Yeah.
just like think like you
Yeah.
couldn't do shit on your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, when I hear that line, I think more along the lines of like, just because someone's helping you, you don't have to like, you know, kiss their ass, basically,
No,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can assure you, he doesn't kiss
I,
mine.
I don't know. It's something about living with not just SMA, but I suppose any disability
hmm
where you need assistance. Especially, I think it's noticeable in people with SMA. Uh, we talk about this frequently. It's hard to draw the lines in your relationships with your caregivers. Um, and that line is always, I think, obscure, especially when you're dealing with family or friends
Yeah.
even, right? So,
Yeah, we've had a couple of guests that stated that they prefer not strangers, but people that are not in their family to
yeah,
take care of them.
yeah,
And
Mm.
like it depends on then there's some people that like prefer family. It depends on the individual.
yeah,
Because especially if there's like weird family drama, like oh, like Aunt Kathy hates Uncle Joe, and then something something, and then like it's really awkward, and now yeah, I don't know. Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
yeah.
But now, what are some misconceptions? Now back into the main questions. Whee! All right. What are some main what are some misconceptions that you think others have about your SMA, and how do you navigate them?
Kind of like we were saying earlier about independence and how people think you can't do anything or you think it's like a mental disability. They think like, oh, I'm not smart enough to do this or something like that. I think that's one thing that bothers me a lot because I like to be independent as well and do my own thing. So I think that's one thing. And also, I notice people talk louder. I don't know if this happens to you. People talk louder to me. They speak to me a
Yeah.
lot, so that bothers me. I'm like, I can hear you. Like,
They'll talk
yeah,
louder and slower.
It's a little
yep,
patronizing, huh?
Exactly.
Wow.
yeah,
Damn.
I
We
I
just recorded a guest yesterday and they said the same shit
yeah,
where people see you in the wheelchair and they automatically think like, oh, they must be slower.
yeah.
And it's like
yeah.
that's a crazy like conclusion to make.
Um, this reminds me of a story. I forgot if I've told it
Is
on the
this the Walmart?
podcast before. No.
Oh,
Not the Walmart story. Uh, when I was in high school, I think it was my senior year, I had a free period, uh, in sixth period, I believe, or seventh. And my bus didn't come to pick me up until later. And that's why I stayed for seventh. And at the time, I was helping out Mr. Jackson, the track and field coach,
Mm.
at the time, I believe.
okay.
And so I was in his room. He didn't really have anything for me to do. So I was just hanging out in his room, waiting for my bus. And at the time, I was really into Clash of Clans. And I was just, I had an iPad that I would do all my work on,
Oh hell yeah, dude. iPad
and
maxing.
iPad clashing, and checking out my town hall, upgrading my walls and whatnot, and
The
the
usual,
huge.
you know.
And one of his TAs, who was an adult, came by and did that exact thing. She's like, "What you doing there?"
Yep,
I was
that
Upgrading my
voice.
walls,
Yeah.
bitch. You wouldn't know about it.
"What you playing?" I'm like, "Oh, Clash of Clans." And she's like, "Oh, what's that? Can you show me?" And so
Yeah.
it's a core memory for me because I remember feeling so weird and patronized,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I didn't want to be rude and
Uh,
tell her to like mind her business, and so I showed her all the intricacies of Clash of Clans.
see, I feel like that's how you gotta do it. You gotta like one up them. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
you wanna be patronizing, adjust glasses, and you just like you just hit them with the 10-page paragraph, like micro detail, and
Yeah,
they're like, okay. Yeah.
yeah,
It's just like requesting 30 archers. Or I forgot how to play that
I
game.
forget. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. One time I was in an elevator with my mom and we are talking about one of like the kiosk shops that like was happening. And like this family walked in and they were talking about the same kiosk. So my mom like started talking to them about it. I was like, oh, nice. I just started nodding my head because I was agreeing. And the lady goes, oh, look, she's agreeing with us. And I side eye and I'm like, what? Like, and then she like went silent after that. And it was like such an awkward elevator. And then we got off and I was like, wow, I can't believe she just did that.
That's rude as hell.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. She crazy for that.
Yeah.
I
I
wouldn't
was like,
even say
wow.
crazy, just like, wow. I don't know how people live like that.
I don't
I
either.
Yeah,
don't
me
That's
I don't
neither.
like
know. I've never I've never reached that level of like
ignorance.
maybe well maybe once when I was like 6 or 7 years old. I didn't know any
I
better.
was just gonna say that same thing happened to me, but I was in eighth grade and I was with fellow eighth graders.
Yeah. But
Mm,
like, like frontal lobe fully developed, so I'm like, no, that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
what's
yeah. Full grown
in front
adult.
of
I'm
in
like,
front of your
wow.
family too. That's crazy. Like
Yeah.
in the elevator.
Yeah. We
Oh,
all looked, me and my mom looked and we're like, and just laughed at her. Like, cause we were like, what? It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, when I was in eighth grade, there's some guy I was friends with, and we were hanging out with his friends. And one of his friends said something, and I replied, and he didn't expect me to say anything. And so
Mm.
what?
when I talked,
You thought you were nonverbal?
yeah, when I talked, like, whoa, you could talk.
Oh God.
Wow.
He's like, Nani?
Oh, geez, man. Well, like when it comes to like kids, like I'm a little bit more gracious.
Yeah,
They're kids,
Yeah.
but
adults.
but you're describing
But
like a full on
adults.
like they've been on here for a hot minute.
Yeah.
So like okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's perks of living with
Even
SMA.
some kids are better than that. A lot of
Yeah,
kids I know are better
exactly.
than that.
Well,
I'm
it's
like,
because like
wow.
we talk about this when kids approach him, it's not really coming from a place of ignorance, well, kind of, but it's more of curiosity.
It's more innocent in
Yeah.
nature, I
Yeah,
feel.
yeah, it's they just want to know like what's up,
Yeah.
but like the moment you're describing this is like just straight up ignorance is like, oh, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting like like oh, which is kind of crazy because it's like it's just wild that the first thing that comes to mind is just like, oh, I guess they don't talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, which
Makes
I
no
think is
sense.
pretty insane. Yeah. Like, gosh, like I could probably forgive an eighth grader,
Yeah.
especially if it's the
Yeah.
first time you've met each other.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like, oh shit, well, you just shattered his world. It's like, okay. Like now, well, now he learned, or like the
Yeah.
eighth grader learned, like, oh, maybe not judge people that quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been caught. But that adult, hopefully, they learned something,
Yep.
because
Hopefully.
that's crazy.
To anyone listening, we can talk.
We can definitely talk. And a lot, I
I
feel
don't know,
like.
Don. I don't think I've ever heard you speak once. I'm not fully convinced.
This is AI talking.
Yeah, yeah, it's it. Um, we actually have a whole green screen, and his mouth is actually rigged. Yeah, I'm controlling it with my foot right here. That's like a little like an Ocean 11 type of like poker like computer thing, and I'm like tapping my foot like
It's like commanding me via binary.
yeah, 1110011. All right, we got a second question all up in here.
Yeah, so kind of on the lines of SMA and all that good stuff. Um, any challenges that kind of come across being a filmmaker with SMA specifically?
Yes, definitely. I feel like it's like a lot of people, I feel like this goes back kind of with other questions, a lot of misconceptions. Is like a lot of people question when I first went, was like, oh yeah, I'm going to school for film. A lot of people are like, what? Like that's already a hard like industry to go into, and then adding less likely because of like physical limitation to be accepted. I definitely noticed it, especially with like gear and stuff. And a lot of sets are like not like they're not fully ADA compliant, so and they don't have to be. So I that too. But for me, I've been like at least for like school wise, all my professors have been great and like they want to work with me to like be able to try with anything. They're like, "We'll try it. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work." Which I really like because that's teaching me like for later, like, okay, I'm gonna be able to do this job in XYZ. Where if like I don't know, I feel like sometimes if I go somewhere else, you're gonna be like, oh, well, you can't do this, so we're just gonna put you to the side or let you watch or something like that. So I noticed there's definitely some challenges, but it's 100% possible. It's not impossible at all. It's so much fun. I love it. And then also for me wise, I like bringing disability into film and opening eyes for other people, which I really like because a lot of people in my life now are like learning a lot of new things with film and like working with me, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
So that's weird though, regarding sets not having to be ADA compliant. How does that work?
Yeah, I've heard of that before. It's because
Yeah, one of my professors he explained to me because he was like a lot of sets they're gonna have like a bunch of wires all over the place. They're like kind of unless it's like in a studio, which a lot of studios are like built for that set, and then after they're done filming, they take it down, and then they or like if they use a house for a set and there's no ramp to get to that set, it would just be stairs, like stuff like that, where they can obviously add it in if they know I'm gonna be on set and everything, but he was telling me about that and I was like, wow. And like I didn't know that at the time. And like a lot of the bathrooms, there's like stairs because they're like little vans, like trailer trucks they bring in and out for the bathrooms and they will have stairs to use and they won't be like a handicap accessible bathroom, which is like a porta potty type of thing.
Hmm.
yeah,
Really good
that makes
set.
sense because like the way like she described it really well, but that's kind of how it's been described to me. And here's a fun fact. I don't know if you knew this, but when I was 8 or 9, they filmed an episode of Dog the Bounty Hunter outside of my house, and they used
Oh,
the house I live in for a scene or two. So for like
Wow,
2 days, I just lived on a movie set.
dude, that's so hype.
Well,
that's cool. That's really
and
cool.
and what she's describing is exactly like what they do. You just pull up porta potties, like
Yep,
temporary office, like some bullshit, whatever. No ramps, nothing. It's just like whatever, just to like get shit done, and then they like clean up and pack up and leave.
Home.
yep. It's like they'll have like a week, 2 or 3 days, and then they'll be gone and moving on to the next thing. So he was just like kind of explaining to me like it's gonna be difficult, but it's not impossible and you're gonna be able to do it. You just gotta like navigate it type of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. And well, and correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like I guess it's going to be very dependent on like connections in your team,
Yeah,
like who you're working with, because if you know somebody that's like an incredible cinematographer, I'm like, oh, I like your work. You willing to like, help me out, like to get this image or this thing off the
exactly.
ground, because I feel like some of the best movies happen when the right people kind of meet up, like the Avengers, and then they
Yeah,
find the script and it's just like, okay, this is it, you know? So like, yeah. So I think they're yeah, but I like your attitude, your approach. It's like, yeah, like I've been told that it's gonna be hard, but everything's hard.
Hmm.
yeah,
But nothing's
exactly.
impossible.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a shot.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? And I
Exactly.
like that
And I've been able
attitude.
to do it like so far. All like I haven't had like a real crew yet. All the films I've done, I've had like maybe 1 or 2 people help me with. I haven't had like a full set of people. So everything I've done so far has just been like me, myself, and I. And so I was like, if I could do this on like a small scale by myself, and if I'm able to get an actual real group of people that are into film and want to do it, it's great to be able to be like kind of like the brains behind it and not the muscle, basically.
Yeah. No, I've come to learn as I've gotten older too that connections are really important. It's not just what you know, it's who you know. And, you know, I've gotten so many opportunities and I feel like I've grown a lot doing the podcast because I've gotten to meet so many just dope people.
Really cool people.
Yeah.
It's
Like, I complain about it sometimes working on the radio station that I do, but regardless, it's an opportunity for me to like gain experience, to work on
Yeah.
something that I care about and learn new skills.
it's just it's just so cool to just like talk to cool people.
Yeah.
Like not only to you, but then you told me a story about there is a I forget what but he was like like he worked for a national park service and he was completely
Oh,
like legally blind.
Yeah.
And
I think I remember.
yeah.
I think his name is Ray Bloomer. Yeah. Ray, I doubt he'll hear this.
Ah,
I
whatever.
don't know if I really reach his circle, but
But he's cool.
he's super cool. And he did a whole presentation. I work part-time for a local rehab hospital,
mm,
and I work with a recreation therapist on monthly peer support meetings, essentially, for those that are, newly injured or may have had a stroke or lost some bodily function. And we had Ray Bloomer come on and give a presentation, who is a national park ranger,
that's
and
really
he's
cool.
completely blind. And he was telling us about uh, how it works for people that are blind and how it works for people that are developmentally disabled, getting them out on trails and, giving them all their access needs, getting them met. And it's just really cool. It goes back to what we were just talking about. It's hard, but it's definitely not
Yeah.
impossible.
Right, which I think is a great attitude to have just in general
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
like because you get used to it. Everybody says it's hard. It's always going to be hard.
yeah,
Like working sucks. Like
Hmm.
working hard, like grinding's hard. Like you can't get nowhere easy,
right,
which is
Yeah.
just the fact of life. So, like the fact that nobody's saying, "Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but it's doable." Like that's that little ounce of hope. But nobody's told me it's impossible yet.
right, right.
You know,
Yeah.
until I've like hit the wall and I'm like, "Oh damn!" But if we hit a wall, Still, nobody's telling me it's impossible.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah,
drive around it.
Or you make a door.
exactly.
So
And
it's
then I
like,
like to say that like don't tell me it's not possible. Let me figure it out first. Let me try and do this. Like we have to learn in school how to wrap wires properly, and like throw wires properly. And there's this one wire, it was like 20 pounds, I think, probably. And he was like, I was like, I'll try it. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. And then he was like, yeah, go ahead. And then let me know if you can't do it. That's perfectly fine. And then we'll like give you another thing to do. Otherwise. And then so I tried it and I was like, yeah, there's no way, this is already too heavy. And he was like, that's okay. And then he gave me a different wire that was like smaller, thinner wire, and I was able to do that one. So I was
That's cool.
like, thanks for letting me like be able to say, okay, I can't do this one, but I can do this one instead.
Okay, so we know 20 pounds is too much. How much can you lift?
yeah.
Um, it
Oh,
depends. It really depends. Up high, not that much, but like if it was, I don't know, like maybe 10, my max probably.
Sure. That's like
she got you beat.
by far. I'm like noodle arming over here.
Yeah. This next question's pretty cool.
2 pounds for the record. Two
That's
pounds.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
my normal reps are like a 2 pound weight
Yeah,
that I do.
nice.
Mhm.
Do you want to ask another one?
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah, we have a few.
So kind of going back to what we talked about earlier, you mentioned that Full Sail provides like all the equipment, right? And so, you kind of just gave us an idea that the people you've worked with in class and whatnot are pretty cool about giving you the independence to try stuff on your own first, with the wiring at least. Do you have any other experiences? Like we saw you like managing the camera and everything like on your Instagram and all that, and we thought that was super cool. So we just wanted to ask about all the intricacies of, you know, using the camera or operating the board and all that stuff. What's that like?
Yeah. Um, so right as of right now for like Full Sail, we haven't gotten like too much into equipment fully. We got to do a little bit, but I wasn't on camera crew. Unfortunately, I was doing assistant directing for that project. So we haven't really gotten to do anything like with cameras yet. I haven't been able to with Full Sail. But like on my own, I have my own like personal camera that I like to use. And I really like handling the camera. And a lot of my friends like giving me the camera because if they want to get a moving shot, I'm the smoothest shot because I'm able to drive backwards and hold the camera at the same time. So that's really cool. One thing, of course, the cameras are heavy, but it's nice to be able to like hold the camera in my lap or like someone I was talking to was saying about how you can buy like arm rigs to connect the camera to, and if you have a joystick, it could be like a robotic arm for you that controls the camera. So I thought that
Mhm.
was really cool.
Yeah, I was just thinking
Um,
about that, like a whole thing. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of sick.
yeah, that'd be really cool. When he was telling me about it, I was like, look into that. It's probably so expensive. So, and not anytime now, but sometime in the future, I hope. But I really enjoy holding the camera. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a little bit challenging, but I think what's cool about it is my shots are so different than someone else's, which I've noticed like comparing projects with like people from like my classes in high school and everything and getting those different shots because it's at a different angle, you might be at like a slightly lower angle, and stuff like that. So I find it really cool.
Okay, no, hold on, hold on. You said that it's really expensive, but do you guys have Department of Rehabilitation where you are?
I do not know.
Because
Like
Department of
in
Rehab
school or just in general?
in general, so Department of
Oh, I do
Rehab
not
is
know.
it's like a state-run program typically,
Mhm.
and their whole purpose is to help you achieve your vocational goals, your career goals, and oftentimes that sounds like exactly something they would pay for. Like in
Mm.
order to help you fulfill your job or to get to the point where you can do that job of directing and whatnot, they'll totally help out with stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would
So it's
definitely look
the
into that.
Department of Rehab.
Rehabilitation.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll definitely check it
It's
out.
they usually have one in pretty much every state as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, we live in California, so things are a little bit more.
Progressive and like helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
there's
not
like
Florida.
there's a more government assistant and like programs and stuff for like affordability and all that.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that's one of the other things we always mention on the podcast is Department of Rehab and just how helpful they
Yeah.
can be. So I definitely think it's
There's
worth
a there's a vocational rehabilitation. Oh, Department of Education. Never mind.
vocational rehab. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that would work.
I would think, yeah. Or if not, I mean, you can always send me whatever and I can check it for you and let you know if I think that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Perfect. Thank you. That's really cool. I didn't know
thank
about
you.
that.
Yeah, they pay for his school.
They paid for all my
Yeah.
schooling. They paid for my textbooks when I was at UCLA, and they paid for my Hancock Community College tuition and ASU tuition. So yeah,
Oh wow. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had a really good question.
These are kind of like a two in one. Um, so we watched your short films and put on my glasses, and I noticed an underlining theme in your films because you like to include disabilities. And I was telling Dom, there's like this tug and pull between hope and then hopelessness. But I know disabilities aren't always that black and white.
Yeah.
So, and I'm wondering, would you say that's kind of like that's how kind of like the way you make films, like there's like tug and pull between there's hope and then there's no hope and like there's silver lining, whatever, like how would you describe like
We
this
were
pull?
we were watching IME specifically, if that helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that one, my vision was kind of more when I first thought about it, I wanted to show like vulnerability.
Yeah.
When I first did, because my first ever personal project, other projects I did before this was in like high school and like for school. And so I got the opportunity to work with one of my family friends who does film, and he's like in the industry, and he was like, I'll help you make a film, whatever you want to do. And at first I was like coming up with a bunch of like random ideas, and it was like trying to come up with like comedies or something like that. And then my mom asked me one day because she read an article, and she was like, it was an article like, if you were in a wheelchair, would it be the first thing you did? And I was like, I don't know. Like I've never really thought about it. Like for like would be the first thing because I don't know anything else. And so that's what like sparked this idea of that I am me. Like kind of like there's so many things that are out there that people think we can't do or people estimate can't do. And then kind of like a lot of people think that I can't do or like I can experience, but I can experience it just in a different way. So that was my kind of view, like showing that like they kind of said earlier about like nothing's impossible, where it's like it's just different. So that was kind of like my view with I and me.
Got it. That
That's cool.
makes sense. Okay. All right.
Well, that's the cool thing about art, right? Like
Yeah, it's you can interpret it in different
yeah,
ways, but now that she's
Yeah,
explained it and we have like better context, I'm
yeah.
like, okay, enough is impossible. I got it. That makes sense. Yep. So, and it bleeds into the next question where when it comes to art, I like art. It's cool. And
yeah,
I describe artists having this DNA. And this DNA, it's kind of like a fancy farty way of describing it, but it's kind of your life experiences, your beliefs, your trauma, your successes, everything that you are
yeah.
unintentionally bleed into the film. And sometimes you might not be aware of it. So then my question is like currently, like right now, what do you think your DNA is, or what do you wish to express to people? Like when you're making a film, that vulnerability, like what do you want to like leap through to people?
I think right now my like vision with film and like the films I want to make is to show just people like in like wheelchairs, like with SMA or with disabilities in general, like that we're not just like this one, I don't not one thing, but like just like people make assumptions about us and kind of showing we have different personalities. We're people, and like I noticed in films, there's not like now it's starting to become a good like a mainstream thing where characters with disabilities are main characters, but there's never really a film like that and showing like they're always a side character or like in the film for like 2 seconds and then nothing really is shown. And I think that's my like with like your DNA is kind of showing that like we have personalities too and showing the different sides of being in a chair, like kind of like you can laugh about it, you can joke about it with your friends. Like it's not a sad thing. And it's not like, oh, like I feel so sorry for her. It's like, wow, she's doing all these things. Like, not the word inspiring, because I also not really like that word a little bit when people always say, like, wow, you're so inspiring when I sat and
Yeah.
did math homework. Like it did it like that. But something like that kind of showing people that like have a better understanding, I think.
Yeah. No, I get that
I
totally.
know, I felt that. Yep.
Those bars.
Yeah, because like the DNA stuff is always interesting because like it's because there's very much a lot of you in your art, and like
Yeah.
the way you answer that, it's kind of like I want to be noticed, I want to be heard,
Yeah.
like, and I think that's kind of like subconsciously like that's what you want
Yeah.
like because like maybe throughout your life you're used to people just kind of like oh like waving you off or whatever, but now you're like nah, I'm here.
Yeah,
Like this
exactly.
is who I am, like this is what I believe in. These are my struggles, full on.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to like take away from my see that. Well, that's how
Yeah.
I'm interpreting it.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm
exactly like
wrong.
that. And
Yeah.
even like now I'm working on like a new project right now with some of my friends, like outside of school. And that's kind of where my next like film is going, like showing it's supposed to be like a comedy horror, like play off of like the movies, scary movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a play off of that with someone like the main character's in a chair. And it's like a quick like I think it's gonna be like a 5-10 minute like short film.
Oh, so
Just
hyped.
kind of like that. So like something short, simple, and then like hopefully one day in the future, like kind of like do a scary movie type of thing, but like the
Yeah.
main character's in a chair and like because I've never seen in any horror movie the like a character in a chair as like a main
Yeah.
character like trying to escape a killer or something like that. So
Like they're always based around caregiving when you do get movies like that are horror, like
yes.
Yeah.
feature people with disabilities.
Yeah.
Like what was it, the Stephen King story?
Well, there's one that came out recently that was pretty good. It's like somebody that's disabled and then like their caretaker is like a crazy person or
hmm
something. But
Yeah, I know what that's about,
Mm.
yeah.
is that the Stephen King book?
No, that's something else.
Oh,
No, it's funny you mentioned Scary Movie. It's one of my favorites when I was growing up.
Yeah, they're
I've
so
always
funny.
wanted. Now you could steal this if you want. I've always wanted a scene where somebody's getting like chased
mhm.
and then the murderer or whatever is like running at a full sprint and then you hit your brakes as hard as possible and they they
Oh,
just like
that'd be so funny.
they
That'd be
flip
really
over
good.
because like the e-brakes are pretty strong
Yeah,
and
newer
Yeah.
they're just
models.
like
Yeah, just like
I've-
when you're riding on the back of the chair and like I stop suddenly and just like hits you with
oh
the
that hurts.
Oh,
handlebars,
yep.
the headrest.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
these right here, oh
yeah,
God,
Yeah.
they
My
stabbed me.
friends always complain about that too.
yeah.
Yeah,
When I
I'm like
break too hard, I'm like,
dancing
stop.
when he's doing turns, I have to dance. He is like, yeah, that's
Oh
fun.
gosh, I had two things I was gonna bring up
Stephen
that
King.
I already forgot regarding this.
Well, I know
Um,
you've always wanted to see like a horror that involves like people with disability because
yeah,
like he and I we like ghost stories.
I love.
We
Yeah.
like supernatural stuff.
Yeah,
And like he's told me a couple of, if you don't mind me
yeah,
sharing,
go for it.
he's mentioned a couple of times where yeah, we have friends that have like the paralysis demon or like sleep paralysis, right? But like
Yeah.
Dominic doesn't really have that, but he wonders like, oh, what if I did get sleep paralysis? Like how trippy would that be?
Yeah, because like
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I
as a
just like
as a person with SMA who
you already
already
can't move.
can't really move when I'm lying down,
Yeah.
Yeah.
can't resist gravity. I feel like it'd be like nothing to me. Like, this shit ain't nothing new to me, man. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But it's also like there's something like really like primal or like visceral about having no control and then there being like a shadowy figure there and like like for me it'd be terrifying because I know what it's like to be able to move and stuff.
I'm used to it. Shadowy figure is just you across the room, bro.
Oh, me eating cheese puffs.
Talkies.
Hey, good, hey, how you doing, Dom? It's like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm the 3 a.m. demon, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I have to go upstairs to use the bathroom. You probably hear me like, I'm like, oh shit.
The footsteps.
And I stub my
Yep.
toe. Yeah. Anyway, that took a wild turn. Sorry. You lost your train of thought completely.
I did. I had
Oh.
something so insightful I was gonna say, and I lost. I got distracted thinking about the butler from Scary Movie to the mashed potato. Oh
You
man.
showed me
Yep.
that scene. That scene grossed me
So
out.
good.
It was like, it's like he's like fingering the mashed potato. What was he doing? Like the turkey?
He was stirring them.
Yeah.
He was stirring the mashed
Oh,
potatoes.
with his
Yeah, with his hand.
Those movies are so unhinged. They're so funny. And
yeah.
I want to
we
make one of
don't get
those like
comedy
at
like
some
that
point.
too often anymore, huh?
Mhm.
That's like
Yeah.
it's like that's wild. Like, ugh.
I think that'd be a dream to like make a full like feature film like about that, like that type of like parody off of that.
Yeah, no,
That'd be
that was
cool.
something I wanted to ask you. Like, do you have plans on making a full-length film?
I want to. They just take so long and so much time to
Yeah.
make. I definitely want to though at some point. Once I start like building up my skills and like I guess yeah, like building up my skills and then make a feature one. Right now, just working on like shorts and doing as many shorts as possible right now. And then keep doing film festivals and stuff like that.
I think an underrated tool that we just lost, and I'm really not mad, just kind of sad about it.
Yeah.
It's like TikTok.
Yeah.
It's back.
It's back.
Already?
Oh,
It's back. It's back already.
back.
Wait, when?
Yep. Today, at like an hour ago, it came back.
Damn.
Yep.
never
You
mind.
should have led with that.
Oh, well, it's funny because like we were recording this episode yesterday, and like womp womp, TikTok's gone.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that, I feel bad for content creators or people that just make like honest content. They're not trying to like scam
Oh
people.
yeah.
It's like they just have a nice personality, and like that's like part of their living, or that's kind of how they pay bills. It's like
Mhm.
because I think, politics aside, I think it's like wild to just like cut off like hundreds, if not like people's livelihood
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Is like
It
that's
was
a little
crazy.
yeah, and like all for what, like Chinese propaganda or something.
Yeah. Like they're stealing our information or like
Oh, Facebook
listening
does that
to
all the
us.
time.
Yeah,
literally every
exactly.
app.
Yeah, it's
Every
all,
app does it already.
like
Yeah.
like this is like hello, Mark Zuckerberg.
You're
How
gonna
can I help you?
Yep.
Hey,
Oh, the Chinese government? Oh, well, no problem. Between what ages 35 and 50? Oh, we have plenty of users like that. I'll send them right
Yep.
away.
like
Like
don't try and sit here and tell me that Permobil ain't like taking note of every like joystick motion I make and like
yeah,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
Exactly.
it'd be silly if they weren't.
Yeah.
Like Instagram does it, like,
yeah.
you know.
That's why the algorithms be so good at supplying me my meme.
Yep. Exactly.
Hey, all right. We lost a little track here. DNA, DNA, DNA.
DNA Denied. That's a good song by Kendrick for sure, for sure.
I got something boiling something in my DNA.
Syrup sandwiches, and
Broken
syrup
quarter
sandwiches.
piece. Something. Ambition, low something. I forget. I can't rap. But you've been featured in a film festival. What was that like?
The online one was crazy. It was like it was the first one I think I got into. Um, and I was like, okay, cool. It's gonna be me and my family got together to go watch them. And then we clicked on and everything, and there was like over 200 films that
Wow.
were playing in just my like small category. There's other like subcategories in the festival that like we didn't even have access to. And so I was like, whoa. We thought it was gonna be like only like 20 couple films or anything, like something short. And it was so many films. And so I was like, wow, there's like this is and it was like real competition. Like people that had like hundreds of people working on their films or like groups of people working on them. And I was like, there's no way I win this. There's no way. Like I was watching all these films. They had like So like high quality production, everything. And so I was like, wow. And then we could like send a link out to vote. So I sent it out to like a bunch of my friends and family to go vote for my film. And then a bunch of them started voting. And so then I was in the top for like audience vote. And so I was like, okay, I think I have it for audience vote. And then I was like, wow. And then other films kept like getting more votes too. And I was like freaking out. I was like, just every day I was watching that list of like who's at the top of the list. And I was like, I am me. And I was like, whoa. And then it finally closed and I was like, okay, I might have a chance. There's one other film that was like almost tied with me at the top. And I was like, okay. And then the full results came out and then I got the judges overall vote. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was freaking out because I was like, my first ever film won a film festival and like such a big film festival. And it was international. So I was like, people from all over the world saw this film. And I was like, this is crazy. And then right now they have like a year season. So every year after all their film festivals, they compile all the winners into a like a season finale basically thing and pick a winner from there. So now I'm waiting to see what happens with that.
That's
See
so
that
hype.
Wow,
competition.
man.
I was going crazy because I was like in school, I was like, what's happening? What's happening? I was so nervous, especially because all the competition, I was like, these are really good. And like some of them were like music videos. And I was like, wow, like with millions of views too outside of the film festival
Dang,
already. So I was
Good
like,
for you.
wow.
that's
Well,
crazy.
sometimes I forget how huge music videos are. Like that's where a
Yeah.
lot of film people like do their work, like cinematography, that choreography, all that stuff. Like music videos are like crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that one was really
Congratulations.
cool.
Yeah,
Like, is
Thank
it like
you.
surreal? I'm like, oh God.
It felt so surreal. It was like, I was like, I just won. I did not, I was like freaking out. And then I've done a couple others, and those were insane also to be at. And one of the film festivals I did recently, it was in Florida. So I was like, here, I'll just apply. I didn't think I was going to get in because it was like one of the bigger film festivals. I got in. So I was like, oh, nice. And I got to watch one of my films in a like live theater, which was really cool. It was Roll a Day in My Wheels was
uh-huh.
that one that I got to play. And that was really cool. And then we went to like actual festival and it was all these people that have been in the industry for like 10 years now, 5 years now, and it was so cool. Like just I didn't win that one, unfortunately, but it was just so cool to watch all these people that have been doing it for like 10 years, and I got to like compete with them,
That's so cool.
which was
Yeah,
cool.
sometimes it's like not about winning, but it's just like the
Yeah,
exposure and the connections,
Hmm.
because
it's
it's
cool.
like the secret sauce with like film festivals is just like you just gotta like shake hands with people and like
Yeah,
and it's just like because I feel like that's like the prime time to do it.
Gotcha.
Well that's what I'd do.
yeah.
Everyone's
And the
different.
guy from YMCA, the cowboy, was there, which was cool.
Oh,
So I got to meet
Who
him and
the
take a picture
cowboy
of him.
from YMCA.
who is
The
that?
song,
The song,
you
yeah.
like the song
Oh, young
YMCA?
man.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
need to get down when I say young man.
Yep.
Get drumming on the ground and run. Wanna be a dog. YMCA. YMCA.
God, if you're listening, you need to be watching somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Oh, uh, oh, it's just, I don't
TikTok clip
think.
right there.
Yeah,
Well,
clip it,
uh-oh.
clip it, stream, clip it, chat.
Oh, no chat, no chat, no. Chat is it for live, dude? Chat, you've been watching too many streamers.
uh,
I mean, that's arguably probably the future of entertainment, live entertainment.
well, we've talked about it before. I think it's one of those things where it's like
Like a little
bleeding.
parasocial.
It's bleeding into culture so much now,
Yeah.
like streamer lingo, you know?
Yeah.
W's in chat. Oh, that's an L, that's a dub.
I heard
Yep.
kids playing basketball. I was going for my daily walk for my stupid mental health. At like lunchtime. And like the kids are like playing basketball, recess or whatever.
Hmm.
And like a kid scored a 3-pointer, says like, clip that. And I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, this is like, dude, like, what? I was just laughing, and I'm like, clip that. And then, like, when he did it, he did like a Fortnite dance. I'm like,
Oh
oh,
my
this
goodness.
is
Flossing.
real. Like, yeah, like, whoa,
Nice.
like, that's so much different. I was talking to a high schooler, and we were talking about music, and he was telling me, "I love Olivia Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter. Like, I like girl pop," and I'm like, "Me too, brother." And then like we dapped each
That
other.
killer house.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And it's just like, man, like I'm like, you're in high school? So it's like, yeah, and all my friends listen to it. We're like open about it. I'm like, damn, when I was in high school, they would have called me gay. And like they
Yeah,
would have called me like slurs. It's just
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
dang, it's just like I'm loving the new generation. I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
hell yeah.
We're just more open about. I don't know how. I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I went from like clip that chat to like appreciating younger. I was just like, I don't know. I felt like a boomer telling. I was like, yeah, back in my day, they called me queer and then pushed me over.
Back in my day was like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Anyway, we got some.
Yeah, so kind of on not so much that note, but uh obviously you're still getting into the field, you're learning stuff, but you already have a lot going for you. At least that's what I notice. Do you have any advice that you would give to aspiring disabled filmmakers?
Um, ooh, I'd say just do it as like Nike, I guess. I don't know. Kind of don't be afraid of people. I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like, that's not like a good idea. No one would understand that because like if your view is like for someone like with wheelchairs or something like that, they're gonna be like, no one's gonna understand that film. It's not for like a huge like demographic of people. Still make it and like make whatever you want, make your story, tell your story, because no one knows it. There's a lot of every film I feel like follows the same structure and follow the same storyline. Like this type of character does this and this, where like people with disabilities, they have a completely different story. And I think just tell it because otherwise no one will hear it. And that's my kind of like look at it, like just keep doing it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're a bit of artists ourselves in the sense we talk about we like talking to people from all walks of life from
Yeah.
different disabilities.
Yeah.
And one of our goals is to make sure that like people understand and know the person to the point where they almost like forget,
Yeah.
and it's just like
Yeah.
we always want to like put forth the humanity first.
The person, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like Dominic and I always talk about it. It's just like, well, I'm like a car crash away from like hanging out with Dom, like a little, and it's like one of those things where art and like a film are like really important because they just capture the essence of what it is to be human,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
just universal, regardless of like the condition. But disability, all this stuff kind of helps bridge that gap. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that stuff is like cool. Yeah.
And then you're in the process of bringing up people's humanity and you go on
Yeah.
tangents about Sabrina Carpenter and Saw and Scary Movie. And it's fun.
Yeah. And I
Well,
feel like it connects people too. Like
Yeah,
kind of like showing we're not that much different than you.
exactly.
Like
yeah.
just because physically we're different doesn't mean we're still people. We're still have emotions and all the different things that connect us.
Yeah, I'll be completely on. I get excited when I see like people from different like walks of life, disabilities, or whatever, when they do make art,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
always coming from a different like place that I'm not coming from.
Hmm.
Because I
Yeah.
got my own issues, my own struggles, my own thing. They kind of project out in either my music playing or like whatever I do.
Hmm.
And it's always fun to interpret other people's stuff.
Yeah.
And I've told Dom about this. I'm very much pro women in the music industry
Hmm.
because like they're just more vulnerable than men.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
they bring a completely different palette of lyricism to the table that my dumb straight brain could never like come up with. Like when I hear those lyrics, I'm like, damn, who hurt her? That hurts me. Like, damn, my
Yeah.
heart's broken. Like shit. Like my dumb ass could never come up with like shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think like I'm always like more stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I get excited. you know? So I'm excited, yay. Oh, did you fix it?
I don't know. I think
You
it was
didn't
Nope.
fix it.
I set it to turn it on, and I don't know what's going on. I gotta fix my settings. For those that are listening, we're trying to make fireworks pop up on screen, and we're failing.
No.
Um, but yeah, so plugs. Where can the people find you,
Yeah.
Stara? What do you want to put out? What do you want people to check out about you? What can the people know about you? Where to find you and whatnot?
Right now, my main for where my films are going is on YouTube. It's called like Siara Productions, Siara, and then Productions. That's where all my films will be going. And then I also have an Instagram, the same handle as YouTube, where I'm like I want to start posting more behind the scenes when I'm on set and like coming soons, basically, like of what's coming and like little snippets of the films that I have out.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Cool.
Well, we'll be sure to link you when we post up on socials too, and sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Perfect,
I
thank
think
you.
I'm looking forward to your next project or whatever you got cooking.
I want that
Yep.
scary movie out like
Yep.
ASAP. Dude,
Yeah,
I
but no, but
Couple
need it.
months, two
but no,
months.
no pressure because like artists they change, they evolve over time. Right now it's comedy, but you never know. It's just like do whatever you feel is comfortable,
two
what you want to
months.
do.
2 months
Yeah.
we're filming. 2
2 months.
months we're filming it, and then hopefully it'll be out right after that.
Do you practice script writing? Is that something that you're
Yeah,
into? Yeah, because
yeah. So
that's
I
like
wrote this one. All my projects so far I've written. The other one, the second one, Roll Damer wasn't scripted because it was like a social experiment, so that one couldn't be
Right.
scripted. But so far the first one and everything I've done is like written by me.
this is more of like a nerdy question. Script writing, have you tried writing a play?
I've not. I've not, but it's a little bit different because at least from right now I'm in a screenwriting class, and the way he explained it is with a play, it's more straight dialogue, kind of like where with a screenplay, you have to write what you're visually seeing because it's a film and it's called like motion picture. You're basically drawing a picture and then making it move. Where a play, you're not as like close and like personal with the actress. Like you can get the same emotions, but not as deep as a movie, so you would write a play differently than a movie script.
Ooh, ever considered it?
Nope.
Okay,
She's
I
like,
don't think
nope.
so.
that's
No, I don't
fair.
think so. I'm not a big writer either. I'm not a big fan of writing. I would never go into screenwriting for like actual like films, like and making like big long ones. Because they deserve a lot more credit than they get. They're really good at what they do. And learning more about it, it takes so much effort and a lot of work to write a script.
I agree. It was more of like a curiosity thing, if you have done it or if you wanted to do it. This is like,
This sounds like a fun nugget to leave on. When I was, I think, like a sophomore in high school, I never finished it, but I started writing what is it, like fanfic my
fan fiction.
of my Discord
Yeah.
handle, Darth Mechanus. And yeah, so
You should finish it. You should upload it. We
Yeah.
um we interviewed a writer and she did a
Mm.
lot of fanfic.
yeah.
She had a whole Harry Potter fanfic posted on her website.
Wow.
And we both loaded it at the same
And it
time.
crashed our
And
computer.
again, we were both like, "Bro,
Wow.
what's happening? Like, did my internet take a shit?" And it's just like, then like when it finally loaded, it's like endless. I'm like, "Whoa!"
Wow.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. And like her thing was like, "Oh, she's like, oh yeah, people should write fanfic and upload it because like, how else are they gonna practice writing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like make it fun.
I've also learned people that are good at like writing like books and stuff like that are not good at writing um screenplays. Also like people because they overwrite too much
Mm,
in the
Uh,
like screenplay where it needs to be like short and simple. So people that are not really good at writing tend to be better at screenplay writing than like actual writing because there's no like full grammar that goes into it. It's like more conversational typing.
yeah.
oh, that makes sense. Yeah, cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You got any questions
Um,
for the guest?
I think I'm good, man.
I'm pretty good. I'm hungry. It's
It's
lunchtime.
lunchtime.
It's lunchtime. I think it's dinner time. No,
Almost,
it's
No,
yeah,
not
quite.
quite, not
It's
quite.
in an
like
hour.
Well,
Lunch
Yara, you've been super cool. We really appreciate you talking to us, and we really hope that more people continue to check out your films, and can't wait to see that scary movie.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. This is a really cool podcast.
Heck
Listen
yeah.
to more some episodes.
Yeah,
Thank
Really
you.
cool.
it's fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
Well, if you liked what we had to say today, please leave us that rating, perhaps a nice little review on Apple Podcasts, and be sure to share with your friends and family on social media. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at The Disability Myth. With that being said, peace and love, and may the force be with you.